I was bluffing. Jack 2 of spades.
Oh, and he shows them.
This poker pro played 4 hands in a $1 million cash game that left him on the edge of max tilt.
Breathe.
Hand 1 starts off with a madman named Steve who opens with Jack deuce suited for a 7x size of $7,000 because why not? Texas Mike with Queen 8 suited calls and Hook 3-bets to 21k with Ace 9 suited. If Steve opens this hand, do we really think he's folding? Hell no. Funny enough, he openly admits he was just fucking around, but he still makes the call. So does Texas Mike, and we go 3 ways.
I was just fucking around, but alright, let's do it.
Steve's willing to gamble, dominated in spades.
I like his speeches.
Yeah.
Would you like that normally?
All the time. All the time.
The flop comes 8-7-6. Steve out of position and with total air decides to donk lead this flop for 48k. I mean, just amazing. Texas Mike could call here, but being stuck in between Steve and Hook, he wisely folds his top pair. Hook, however, has a nice hand being open-ended and in position. He makes a call.
I haven't made a fucking hand yet. Oh, thank God.
Comes with the min bet.
Oh.
The turn is a 7 of clubs and Steve bets $1,000 into over $160,000. Yep. When facing this action, not that you probably will ever, this is basically equivalent to a check, but in this spot, it probably might even be weaker, to be honest. Hook just calls. The river is the ace of diamonds. With 165k in the pot, Steve bets 119k, and now he starts to talk, which for many people is a sign of strength, but for Steve, it could just be about anything.
I think he's snapping all bets here for sure. The way this hand is played, Hook at extreme top.
I don't know what read you're trying to get on me.
I think he wants to know if you have a good hand or a bad hand.
I have a cramp in my finger for sure.
So to recap this hand, it went raise, call, 3-bet squeeze from Hook, and he gets it done.
I was bluffing. Jack 2 of spades.
Oh, and he shows them.
It would qualify as a bad hand, I'm pretty sure. I think he had that beat.
I had that beat. I'm not sure.
Ooh, the stretch. The doom zoom. Bad fold, Mr. Hook.
Wow. Hook rivers one of the best possible cards for him, yet he still ends up folding.
I wanted to know if he had a good hand or if he had fucking
High roll.
spades.
Steve did look strong by the river, but man, I think you just have to pay there. After Steve shows the bluff, Hook is now on max tilt and understandably has to leave the table to cool down. While he does that, I am happy to tell you about YouTube Premium. It's legit one of the few subscriptions I cannot live without. If I were to rank the features from top to bottom, it'd go like this. Number 1, no ads. Number 2, background play. I watch tons of podcasts on YouTube. I'll often just press play on the video and it will continue even when I leave the app. I can do something else on my phone like visit r/poker. And lastly, number 3, the YouTube Music app. If you use YouTube Premium, you'll just automatically love this. It is a separate app for ad-free music that also has background play. I use this to really get me going before a big poker session. See guys, it's pretty simple. All we have to do is press play and resume our last song.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Instead of the 1-month trial period, YouTube has given me a 2-month extended trial period for you all to try. Click the link in the description of this video to try it out. I'd really appreciate it. And hey, it's free for 2 months. Cancel anytime. If you do decide you like it and want to continue using it, just know you will be helping support me and the channel. So thanks for that. Back to the poker action as Hook is feeling himself and opens to 5k with Jack 3 of hearts. Not a great hand, but we are playing on TV, baby. Ace suited hand here is gold. Hands just calls in the small blind with pocket sevens, and Texas Mike comes along in the big blind with 10-6 off. The flop is something for everyone. Jack 8-7 2 spades. Hands, of course, with the best, a set. Hook with top pair, that a weak one, and Mike with a gutter.
Maybe some sugar on the side.
Look at this dream situation.
Action checks around, and the turn brings another 7. Hands now unnecessarily goes from a set to making quads. He checks, and Mike, however, who wants to represent a 7, bets 10k into 18k.
You can't lose this one, Hands, I promise.
Hook makes the snap call, and now Hands is left in a weird spot. You typically won't be check raising with quads much before the river, but I can see how this situation certainly qualifies.
45.
45,000 is the raise.
He makes it 45k, and Mike folds his junk, and Hook sticks around with his jack top pair. The river comes the 10 of hearts, and with 118k in the pot, Hands thinks it over and bets over pot.
125.
Actually, yeah.
Small overbet.
Hook goes into the tank and really gives it some thought before this happens.
There are very, very little bluffs here. Trying to find them. King 9 improves. It would have to be a hand with a 10.
One thing not mentioned is at the start of the hand, there was a jack that was accidentally revealed and flipped over.
I think I saw Jack.
Along with this, supposedly Hook and Hands used to battle online for many hours, so they are very familiar with each other's game.
There's also hands like maybe 5, 6 of spades. These are some rare combos, though. He calls it
Quads.
quads. 368,000. And Hands finally gets something going.
Hands and Hook have not had enough fun as they get involved again. To start the hand, Steve limps with pocket 10s. Texas Mike raises to 12k with 6-4 off. And Hook's spidey senses are on as he 3-bets on the button to 35k with ace jack off. Hands now picks up pocket queens in the big blind. Due to the strange action before him, this pot is already super inflated. While this is typically a 4-bet spot, Hands decides on just cold calling the 3-bet. Honestly, this seems pretty decent considering the guys behind who will for sure call, but in that same breath, maybe it makes for a better ISO. I'm not sure. These guys are infinitely deep. I could see both. But let's go to a flop of ace queen 9. Now the call looks just genius as we knew the queen was coming, right? Action checks over to Hook, who bets about 1/3, 55k. The commentator Christian Soto here thinks Hook should consider checking back the flop, but I disagree on this one.
With this much action, I wouldn't blame Hook to check back flop. I think it's perfectly reasonable, but he disagrees. Comes with flop bet.
Hands is usually 4-betting queen, and ace-king, right? His range here looks more like middling pairs up to jacks. So what's Hook's concern? Steve and Texas Mike typically whiff anyways, and we want to deny equity, so I like the bet here. Hands responds to Hook's bet by just calling. The turn comes the 3 of hearts, which both players dislike as the flush comes in.
Not necessarily a clean turn.
So it quickly goes check, check. The river is interesting as we see the ace of diamonds giving Hook trips. With 255k in the pot, Hands ponders.
Checking here makes some sense. It would be nice. You get value from hands like ace king, ace jack, ace 10.
Finally deciding on a large size of 200k.
Let's see how Hook reacts to this. I think given this bet size, he doesn't necessarily beat any value.
Hook doesn't like it, but what's that? He folds! I know I called this man a talented amateur in the past video, of which I was roasted in the comments for not knowing he used to be an online god, but you can really see his skill come out in this one as he makes a quick fold. I think that size from Hands for sure gets called by many other players, but with Hook, he likely should have gone something only as high as about half pot. Something I learn more and more as I play is you have to be very, very careful with multi-way pots. Alarm bells were likely going off as soon as Hook saw Hands call the flop. And finally, we have arguably the hand of the night. Hook opens 8-7 suited in early position and gets a call from 10-9 suited, as well as Texas Mike, who calls from the big blind with 10 deuce off. Salute to Doyle. The flop comes ace 5 4, so Hook and Texas Mike both have a gut shot. Hook needs a 6 and Mike needs a 3. Hook, with the preflop range advantage and some outs, puts in a small bet and is called by Mike. The turn is one of those straight completing cards, the 6. Hook has the nuts. With 31k in the pot, he bets 16k. While you might think it's time for Mike to hang it up, you'd be dead wrong. His gut shot opportunity just turned into an open-ender.
Wait a second, no it didn't. I have no clue what I was talking about here as I watched this back. This guy is just a maniac.
That means foot on the gas and aggression. He raises to 52k. Now what is Hook's move here with the nuts? To be honest, playing versus a splashy guy like Mike, I'd very much consider 3-betting, but he does just take the standard line of calling. Now the river pairs the board as we see the ace of hearts. Texas Mike seems to abort ship and check. Now once again in Hook's position with the nut straight, he must bet. The size is up to debate. He goes huge, 160k into 136k, most likely targeting trip aces. And let's see what Texas Mike decides on.
Oh, he rips it on him.
Wow. Who saw that coming? Certainly not Hook, who was faced with the rare double check raise and understandably made the laydown without the full house.
Oh, it gets it through. Oh, no.
It is certainly crazy how such a strong hand by the turn can look so weak by the river, considering the action and not the hands, obviously. And I mean, this is actually a pretty sick bluff from Texas Mike if you think about it. Hook was the preflop aggressor. He has all the ace-x. Flop goes check with a very small bet from Hook and a call from Mike. Turn goes check, bet from Hook, and raise from Mike. With this, right, he's repping a set or 2-pair or maybe 7-3 for a lower straight or even 3-deuce for a delayed fast play straight. His bluffs are missed spades with a pair or hands that have some interaction with straights like 7-4, 8-6, or 10-deuce? I mean, that one is so far out here, he has some real balls. Mike also has to believe his opponent is good enough to fold an ace here. So yeah, all in all here, a lot of things were at play that turned out to be one of the sickest hands, and sadly for Hook, another chance to get doom-zoomed by the cameras. This man really took a beatdown between just 2 sessions despite overall playing well, and that's just poker. In this session, he ended down $557,000.